product lifting on every single nail. Also, they are curving downwards and the sidewalls are missing. So in this video, we are going to do hard gel infill for these nails coming up. Hello, I'm Anastasia. Today we are going to do infill for these nails. Two of them are barely hanging there, so first thing I'm going to do is to file off the color so we can actually see what's going on down there. Usually when the nails are in this kind of condition, the easiest way to transform them is simply to take off the old product and to do a new extensions. But I decided to keep them for several reasons. One of them is that this client asked me to keep the shape, so she didn't mind if we will do a new set, but she wanted to have exactly the same shape like she has now. And honestly, this kind of pointy almonds, it's just so not my style, so I honestly have doubts if I can actually create the exact shape like that. Because normally I do a little bit different kind of almonds, or if I will do a stiletto, I will definitely make it longer. I don't know, this is just how my brain works. So I decided that if I keep them, I definitely can keep the shape. Another reason is that I also wanted to make some kind of personal challenge. I mean, can I actually transform these nails without taking them off? And also I decided to record a couple lessons and to show it to you guys that it's actually possible to transform nails sometimes by doing infill. It is not necessary to take the nails off every time. As I am filing off the color, by the way, I am using the carbide cone-shaped bead, we can see that the lifting is there and it's pretty massive. I mean, almost all of the center of the nail is lifted. Now I'm working on that nail that was almost falling off, and I will show you a way how you can take it off without gluing it back. So if you are not sure, if you don't feel confident, of course you can simply clip it away, but I'm just holding it with my left hand and filing off the color. So it's lifted almost on the whole area where the nail bed is, so our goal is to remove product right there and keep the free edge. If you will not hold the nail with your opposite hand and will just start filing, the nail was moving and it will move under the bead and it might be pretty painful or it may simply fall off. So I'm continuing taking off the product and I was hoping that maybe at least some nails are not lifted. Another confusing part is that previously the nail technician who did these nails probably used a milky white color underneath. So sometimes I'm not sure whether it's a product lifting or it's just the color, but every time it turned out to be a product lifting. And here we can also see that some of the black color is not fully cured, and that's why my bead is already kind of stuffed, but it has nothing to do with the lifting because the color that is not fully cured is on the top of the gel extension. So I simply file it off and we'll switch to another bead, and we can see another massive bubble here in the middle. So if you're wondering why this is happening, how can you prevent this from happening during infill, so I have a video that covers the most common mistakes during infill, and if you haven't watched it yet, I will leave the link down below. This is what we have. As you can see, almost everything is lifted, and now we are going to do your favorite part, guys, to remove the lifting itself. So I'm going back to that nail that is barely hanging there, and all I need to do is basically to file off the product and the thickness where the lifting is ending. So this is the place right here between the nail bed and the free edge. So I need to remove the product and then carefully file off the lifting. There's no need to file off the thickness or the color near the cuticle because it is lifted there anyways. So I'm working with a cone-shaped bead, and this is great for doing things like that because see, I can, with this sharp edge, I can simply create this line and cut off the lifting. So now we can see it's almost separated, and now we can painlessly take it off. Oh, and later I figured out that this client, she also used a glue to glue back this nail when it was falling off. So the reason we can see this is also partially glue. I keep working with the drill bit and removing the remaining product lifting. As you can see, there is still some white lines, which means that we still have lifting. This is very important. If you are not sure if you can actually do this, if you can fully remove the lifting, then it is definitely much better simply to take off the whole nail and to create the new one. Another reason for why do we see such a scary picture right now is that because if the client's nails are really brittle and splitting, then most likely when the lifting occurs, the natural nail will separate itself as well. So what happened is that the product basically ripped off some of the layers of the natural nail. So as I file off the other product lifting, we can see that these holes appear pretty fast because the product is not adhered to the nail plate anymore. So what we need to do is that to file the product around the lifting, and then it will simply painlessly fall off.
When I was older, I was a sailor on an open sea. When you're underwater and my skin is bare and it's heavy.
Among 10 nails, there was only one where the product was lifted like halfway, 50%. In all of other nails, the product was lifted basically on the whole area of the nail bed. And why it happened? Well, I think most likely the reason is that there was a little lifting near the cuticle and along the sidewalls, and instead of removing it and filing it off, the nail technician simply covered it with a new fresh product. That's why we do not see any product lifting near the cuticle yet. And also, if you noticed at the beginning, and according to the color, these nails were not done a long time ago. I think it's been about a couple weeks or maybe 3 weeks after the infill. So if this client didn't come to me today, then after another couple or 3 weeks, most of the nails will definitely fall off, or they will start to fall off like she had with the index finger, and will cause pain, and she will definitely damage her natural nails even more. Also, I could easily see what colors were used before, because there was a little bit of peach gel covered with the clear and also a little bit of light pink. So I actually asked her if you were using these colors before on her nails, and she said yes. And this is another big mistake. When you're doing infill, you need to fully remove the previous color, all the lifting, and only after that you can apply the new product. And in this video I will show you how to do that. So as you can see on this thumb right now, there are no white spots anymore, which means we filed off all the lifting and now we can safely apply the new product. This is what we have now. This is how the nail looks after removing all the lifting, and the product is there only on the free edge. This is the area where it has not lifted yet. So basically we're going to replace all the product on the nail bed area. So I'm pushing back the cuticles with the orange wood stick, and then I need to file a little bit more because we still have some product remaining here. So right now I want to file off some remaining glue, and I'm doing all that with a carbide bead, but this time I'm using a lower speed, about 12,000 rotations per minute. And once again, if you do not feel confident, be careful, because this bead is really harsh. You're not supposed to work on the natural nail with this one. You're supposed to touch only the product. So whenever you do not feel like doing that, you can switch to the softer one or switch to the hand file like I'm doing now. So when I'm filing nails like that, sometimes I get comments, especially on my Instagram, like, hey, you're not supposed to file them even more, you're making them thinner. Well, the thing is that all these white parts that we can see, this is where the nail has already split. It is already separating from each other, so there's no way they can grow back together. Okay, so the nail is already thin, and the best thing we can do now is simply to carefully file off these white parts that are already separated. Here's what's gonna happen if we don't. The nails are already separated, the layers are not connected to each other, so if we will apply the new product on top, it will lift just in a matter of a few days. So in this nail I have a little hard time filing it off because we still have some hard glue on it, so I think I will switch to the drill bit again and file it off. And yes, this nail is definitely damaged, but the damage happened when the lifting occurred and the nails started falling off, and you know, just while you do your daily routine, you can simply hit the nail with something and this is what's gonna happen. So actually gluing it back sometimes is not the worst idea, because at least you can keep it from ripping off even more. But the best and definitely the safest solution here is simply to go to the nail salon or to your nail tech, where she can simply safely take it off or do an infill. So I'm carefully filing off the remaining parts. It is very important, do not press on the nail file a lot, because we do not want to hurt or damage or to overfile these poor natural nails even more. And also I'm carefully taking off the surface shine from the cuticle area and the sidewall. So now looks like it's all clean. We can clean off the dust and start with the cuticle care. So I'm usually using the flame bit and start with the left side at forward mode, and then I will switch to the opposite and work on the reverse mode.
Don't be cautious, don't be kind. You committed, I'm your crime. Push my button anytime. You got your finger on the trigger, but your trigger finger's mine. Silver dollar, golden flame, dirty water, poison rain, perfect murder. Take your aim. I don't belong to anyone, but everybody knows my name.
This is how the other hand looks like, and I know that some of you guys really enjoy watching how I file off the product lifting, so I will show you a couple more. So this nail is actually the one where the product was lifted only about 50%, as you can see, so this one was the best. And now we have another index finger where it is lifted mostly at all areas. So what I do, I file off the thickness here in the middle, and by the way, these nails were pretty thin on the free edge, so it was not really hard to remove it. And then I simply file it like this, and it simply falls off. You see, it flew away, not a big deal. And then I will carefully file more, and all right, finally we can start doing the actual infill, the things we usually do when we're normally fixing the nails once they outgrown. So I apply dehydrator and non-acid primer on the area where we have natural nail, which in this case is almost everywhere, and then I apply a thin coat of the base coat. So right now I'm using the Cuba. This is Sock-Off base coat. I use it for hard gel extensions as well because the adhesion is great. cure for 30 seconds in LED and we can continue. So we have a lot of work to do, so I hope you guys have popcorn, because product lifting was not the only problem here. Another big problem is missing sidewalls. If I would have just kept going like that, the sidewalls will still be missing. So there will definitely be cracks on the sides and another problems, and most of all, the shape will just not look good. So I'm using a polygel. This is actually IBD control gel clear. So with this one, I can add the product that is missing on the sidewalls. And when I started doing these nails, I thought that there's probably just one nail or two nails like that. But once I took off the color and all the lifting, I realized that it's actually on a few nails, around 4 or 5 of them. So why I'm using polygel at the moment? Because it is so easy to add it without using a foam or any additional product. It's pretty easy to do that with acrylic as well. But if you decided to use polygel, I recommend to pick the one of the thicker consistency, such as IBD, because some brands have a very thin consistency, and if you will try to do something like that, the product will still go under the nail too much, so then you will have to file a lot. So I'm basically creating the new shape, adding these corners that are missing. This part is very important because these sidewalls, they are also part of the stress area, the strongest part of the nail. So if it's missing, the nails will not be strong or resistible to breaks. So then I will cure it for 1 minute in LED. And next thing I'm going to do is to fix a few nails that are curving downwards. Well, there are 3 of them, I believe. So this time I'm going to use a hard gel. I'm using the gel builder in the bottle by Invoke Clear. So I'm simply taking a drop of gel and adding it to the free edge. I'm adding a giant drop on the free edge, so then I can cure it and file off the product underneath, and this is how we can make these nails look straight. The reason I'm doing that first one is that in Russia, people really care that your nails will actually look and grow straight. Most people simply do not like this curve downwards. And another reason is that with this client, we have only 3 nails that are like that. So I personally do not like when the nails are all different. So whether they're straight or they can be curved a little bit, but then they should be all of them like that. So I fixed a couple nails, and now we can finally get back to the actual infill. So from this moment, we finally fixed all the problems: missing sidewalls, nails curving downwards, lifting, and now we can do the actual infill application. So what I did, I applied a thin layer of the gel, did not cure it, and then I applied the structure. So since we filed off almost all product on the nail bed area, I'm working the same way as I would do on tips. It's just simply we already have this tip on the free edge. So while I cure, I will work on the opposite hand, and this is how you usually work with gel polishes, with hard gels, with any light cured product. When you apply the product on one nail, the opposite hand is curing in the lamp. So there's no time when you're not curing anything. So once again, I apply the gel on the whole nail, then I will take the drop, and starting from the cuticle, I will go downwards like a printer, right and left, back and forth, and do not forget to add a little bit more in the center to create the apex. You can turn the hand around if you notice that the product is falling to the sides. Cure, and this is how the nails look after the product application. Let me show you it from the side view. So here's the nail where I added some extra product on the free edge, and right now it looks terribly thick, but that's fine because we're about to fix it in a moment. Then I will take off the sticky residue, and we're going to file the nails, and we're going to start filing from this part. By the way, how would you guys call this kind of shape of the drill bit? Because honestly, I have no clue. It's kind of cone, but the tip is missing, so I don't know. But it perfectly fits for this because I'm filing off the extra thickness underneath, as well as outgrown part of the natural nail. The edge of this bit do not have any abrasive there, so I do not have to worry that I will touch the client's skin with this one. When doing it, it is very important to hold the finger with your other hand. As you can see, the client's finger and the nail is like laying on my fingers. So this is how you can control that you will not overheat it and that you're filing and giving pressure in the right spot. When the nails are curving downwards, they usually curve mostly at the very tip on the free edge, and this is where you need to file off the product to turn these nails into straight looking nails. So after that, I'm going to slightly shape the nails with a hand file. I'm using 180 grit, and I will just slightly fix the shape, make sure they're all the same style and shaping as well as the length, and slightly file the product on the top. I do not have to file on the top a lot because I try to do the application so it will almost be like ready to go, but since we added some sidewalls with the polygel, I still need to fix it.
Eyes glow like two fires, movement so graceful. Wildcat in the jungle with dangerous claws. Movement she anticipates, a sight is set on her prey. Like stars in the darkest night, crystallize, fascinate. If you wanna stay alive, if you don't wanna be her prey, don't stand in her way. Run, run, run away. Crystallize, 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 watching her prey. Crystallize, 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 fascinate.
Almost done, guys, we did it. So I'm also buffing the cuticle area with sphere bead, clean the dust, and now we're going to apply the color. We decided to use this beautiful dark magenta color, and it definitely looks better with 2 layers, so do not forget to cure each one for 1 minute in LED. And also we are going to do a little stamping design because I wanted also to try my new stamping gels. So I cure it and then take off the sticky layer because it is better to stamp on the surface that is not sticky. I think we're going to do this stamping design on 4 nails probably. So I have the stamping plate by Nicole Diary, Born Pretty stamping gel white color, and scrapper and a stamper. Valentine's Day is just around the corner, so we decided to pick this art with the flying airplanes. So I'm stamping it first and then on the nail. So yeah, it works pretty cool, and I have to admit that stamping with the stamper gel is fun, and you do not have to rush as you normally do with the regular nail polishes. But another side of this is that you can actually smudge the design, which usually do not happen with nail polishes because they cure so fast. But if you're just getting started, if you're struggling with stamping, then you should definitely try the stamping gel because it's much easier to work with that one. Cure it for 1 minute and then seal it with a top coat and cure it as well. So let me guys know, what do you think? I think we did just a great job. I can't say I'm super happy with the final shape that we get, but it definitely looks so much better than we had before. So I assume the mission is accomplished. Let me guys know in the comments, would you do an infill like that, or you will simply take the nails off and make a new one? So this is what we had before, nails falling off, and this is what we have now. They're not curving downwards anymore. We fixed the missing sidewalls, all the lifting. I can't say that I'm 100% happy with the shape that I created, but it is definitely looking the same style that it was before. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're first time here on my channel, consider subscribing as I post new tutorials and educational videos just like this one every week. And I will see you in my next one. Goodbye!